Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today to another teaching of Glory Road. I thank you for your presence here, and for those of you that are not here on live, because you'll be watching and scrolling a little bit later, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Today I want to talk to you on a subject that I've taught many times on another app that I'm on called TikTok. If you would like to see me on that app and get more teachings and more nuggets and things like that, then please download the app, TikTok. It's very interesting. You've got a lot of people up there, a lot of talent. And like any social app, you're going to have things up there that you'll have to scroll past, but you'll come across me every once in a while. And my username is Godman Superman. So I'd love to see you up there. And please be sure to follow me. And also, if you like this teaching, you like the things that you're hearing, which I pray that you better like it, because it'll save your life if you get involved with it. Felicia, thank you so much for coming today. Bless you. Then you definitely want to check out my YouTube channel called Cross Rocker. That's 2 words, Cross Rocker. Please be sure to subscribe and then cut your notifications on so that you will know when I upload videos. I'm uploading videos all the time. So looking forward to having you subscribe there if you would. All right, so today we're going to be talking about a subject that I've talked a lot about on another app, TikTok, and I think that you'll enjoy this. It may be from a perspective you've not seen before, but today I want to talk to you about faith versus time. Faith versus time. Now, in our society, no matter where you are, what country you're involved in, no matter what job you work, no matter what kind of upbringing you have, where you're on the left or right side of the tracks, it doesn't really matter. We have been trained to live in a linear way. In other words, we have today, and then there's tomorrow. And then there's the day after. And it's like we're on this road, and everything is on this linear path. So even when we think of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's linear. And we think of the first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. We think of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It all comes with this linear way of thinking. Now, what causes that? Well, what causes that is the fact that we live by a thing called time. We have 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 12. And then we start all over again. And this is the thing that we use to kind of govern our lives with. Well, I want us to realize that as you live in this linear kind of way, it gets you in a rut. And it gets you to follow in so many other people and the way they do things and the way they see things. You're just kind of in a line, and you're just kind of following. Put your hands on the shoulders of somebody else and you're just following them, and that's what they do. And it just gets you in this rut where you're blocked into this system which you can't seem to get out of. And we're held in bondage by time. You've ever heard that somebody get in trouble, they get incarcerated, and they have to do their time, They're paying their time, They're serving time. Well, a lot of people are in that every day of their lives because they don't know how to break out of time. Time tells them what to do. It tells you when to get up, when to lay down, when to do this, when to do that. Everything is about time. So your schedule is based on a time. When you eat and when you do all these things, time. Well, that locks you into a system. But in the kingdom of heaven, time is not an issue. Everything is eternal, man. Everything is right now. You have authority over time in the kingdom of heaven. And so let's go over here to Genesis chapter 1, where we find out where time is instituted in the Bible. Jessica, thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Over here in Genesis chapter 1, starting in verse 14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light on the earth." And it was so. Now this is where, the sun and the moon and all these things got in order. And of course, since then, we have seen, when the rotation of the earth gets to where the sun rises, A new day begins. And then when it sets, a day's beginning to end right there. And we know how that is because that's how time works. You set your clocks to it, man. I mean, the rotation of the earth is so precise that we know exactly what time of the day it is by the sun. This is the reason they had the sundial. That was one of the first ways of telling time. They put the dial on the ground and set it in a certain direction. And when the sun rises, you can look at the dial and find out what time it is. Mandy, bless you. Thank you for coming today. So this is what we do. And we govern our lives about what this little thing on our wrist says. Okay, time. Of course, I don't have one, so you don't see one either, do you? I'm just using my imagination here. So I do what that thing tells me to do. Honey, I can't go. I ain't got the time to do it right now, but I'll get to it later. So this controls us, man. Controls everything we do. Well, I want to let you know that before Adam sinned, he was not under the constraints of time. Time showed up on day 4. But by the time Adam made the mistake and he sinned, Adam was over time. The moment he sinned, he got to be under time or subject to time. So now he was imprisoned by time. How do we know this to be true? Because before Adam sinned, there is no mention of how old Adam was. It didn't say he was 122 the day he sinned. No, there was no time. He was not under the restraints of it. When you start adding time to something, you say, we're supposed to get our retirement here in another couple of years. Well, what that tells me is you can't have access to it for 2 years. So that means even though you deserve something, you can't have access to it for 2 more years. So it postpones everything, even though you can use it right now. See, I can use it, but I can't get it because it ain't the right time. So it puts you in the situation where you have to put away, or you can't access the things that can be beneficial to you if we were out from under the restraints of time. Don't you just wish that you could go through any kind of fast food place, order your food, and as soon as you get to the window, it's right there? How many of you know that don't happen? You're sitting there at the window, hey, man. I mean, how long does it take to make 3 cheeseburgers? Why? Time, especially if you're hungry, You're like, oh my gosh, man, come on. What is taking them so? Look at all those people just standing around in there, that kind of thing. So you've done it. You have. But when Adam sinned, he got under the restraints of time. So time started to tell him what he could do. Now you have to understand, time was given as a commodity to man to govern the affairs of his life on this earth. The same as water and food and all matter. Believe it or not, God had given Adam and mankind the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the galaxy, all the galaxies, the universe, for him to command. See, and everything Adam was to say, everything was to respond to it. He put all the work of God's hands under the authority of man. That includes everything, gravity, all the laws, the natural laws around every planet, all the space in between it, the dark matter, the dark energy, everything was under the control of Adam in the garden. But when he sinned, all of a sudden, time became his master. God had to step away, and time became his master. So now he had to wait on time. Now, age was given to man. Now he's lived such and such, and he was about 202 years old before he begat so-and-so. That's when all that time happened. See, now let's go to Romans chapter 17, or chapter 10, verse 17, because we have to understand that even though time is a commodity, time was created by God, but he's not bound by time. Time was created for you, but you're not supposed to be bound by it. You go to work, clock in, where it stamps a time on that thing. If you don't clock in, you don't get paid. See, even your pay is bound by that. And then you have to sit at the end of each day, clock back out and you look at that time. How much time did you get today, honey? Well, I got about 7, 8 hours today. Okay, I'm calculating how's our living going to be on that times 5, and you try to figure all that stuff out. Because you only get, what, $12 and something an hour. So even your salary or your hourly wage is based on time. So here you are needing the money now, but you got to wait till Friday. Some people have to wait 2 weeks. Some people get paid once a month. So you can imagine if you need your stuff now, you can't get it now. Not in that system. But in the kingdom, God has given you and me something that bypasses time, that has dominion over time, and we find that here in Romans as soon as I turn to it. Romans chapter 10, verse 17. Okay, come on, I want to hear somebody else read it. I know you got it. I know you're there. You beat me to it. Romans 10:17. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Now, God knew that if there was a way He could get to us faith, then we would have the substance that would have dominion over time. Now, with that in mind, let's go to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now, some of these scriptures everybody knows about, but we've never really thought about having dominion over time. We thought, well, you can't control time. If you want to control death, and I'm making this statement, you need to write it down. The person that controls time controls death. Because there wouldn't be a time to die, right? The appointed time to die. Well, if you can control time, you can control death. You ever thought about that, have you? Well, you need to think about it, because you don't want to try to just control death. You better learn how to control time. How do you master time? How do you master it? Well, this is the way you start naturally. You get up early instead of getting up when you feel like getting up. Get up early so that time doesn't tell you how long you're going to sleep. You see. Well, if you go to work early, be there 15 minutes early. Get there a little early. Get there 20 minutes early. You're controlling time. Your boss will eventually see it and see that you're a master over time. You're always there, not just on time, you're there before. Now you can start doing that naturally by preparing to not let time tell you what to do. You'll tell time what to do. So here we are in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So he says, now faith is. So faith is now. Now, how does faith work concerning time? Well, your payday is on Friday. Well, that's in 4 more days. I'm just saying that, 4 days. So if it's 4 days until payday, but I need my money now, how am I going to get my money if I need it today? Well, that's where you got to switch on over to faith. Jude, thank you so much for coming today. You got to switch on over to faith, because faith has all your provision right now. Well, how do we access it? Well, you don't access it by acting like you don't have it. Faith is now. Faith is the conversation and attitude you would have if you stepped into heaven with all of heaven's resources available for you right now. Never running out, never short in supply. That kind of conversation that you talk if you were over there right now is called faith. Faith acts like it possesses. It's not waiting to receive anything. It's not waiting for a specific date. It controls time with words. Now, we've been letting time control our words. Yeah, well, I sure wish we could get it, but, that check's not going to get there to us till, Friday. So I guess we'll just have to sit here and do without. Now, time is telling you what you can do and what you can't do. And that's a problem in the church, because every church function is based on a schedule that everybody is making. Well, we've got this phase 1 and phase 2 to this project, and we can't get started on phase 2 till phase 1 gets done. And it's going to be about 6 more months before we get this done. And so after that, then it's going to take 12 months to get this phase done. And then so everybody's like, well, my gosh, how long is this project going to take? It's a length of time. But what if you could just snap your fingers and the thing be done? That's impossible. You're not Tinkerbell or Bewitched or Genie or nobody, right? In the kingdom, all things are possible. All things are possible. We're the one limited in the way we think. And a man is what he thinks. And if he thinks through time, death has him. Then all the things that are impossible become big in his mind. And then he's just swallowed up by what he can't do instead of seeing what faith can do. Faith was given for man to govern time and everything under time's authority and influence. Everything that was because of the curse came up under the subject or the authority of time. Faith was given to the man to have control over it. Over time. You get control over time, you got control over everything else. This is why so often people are looking for the fountain of youth. Why? Because I want to control time. That's what they're saying. I want to control time. And yet God said, you get into His Word, you abide in Christ, your youth would be renewed like the eagles. What's that mean? It means you get a hold of time, man, and you can make it subject to you and apply it, and you can be revived. That means to go back. That means to have time given back unto you to have dominion over. See, everything goes back to the way it was in the garden. It goes back to where the man is in control again. He's in control over time. Hebrews 11:1. See, we got to understand, faith puts us past this linear way of thinking. Faith is eternal. It's always in the now. So whatever is now in heaven, which is eternal, you have access to. You and I just have to use the substance of faith to get it from that realm to this realm. Copy and paste it to this realm. How do you copy it? Well, you got to get an image, right? Then to copy an image of something. Now, you have to understand, when you get a copy of something, when you make a copy of a piece of paper or something in a copying machine, you never have to proofread the copy. It's automatically an identical copy of the original. There's my lovely wife, Julie. Thank you so much for coming. So here you got a copy of what it is in heaven, and you get to paste it here in this earth. Now, when it appears here in the earth, it looks identical to what's in heaven. How do you paste it? Words. Believing and speaking. That's how you paste it. You get a hold of it, you copy it, and then all you do is you push a button. The tongue becomes the pen of a ready writer of the thoughts and intents of the heart of God, which is in heaven. And you speak it, and I tell you right now, it changes everything. Now, the reason I know that God has given us faith to rule time is because if He wanted us to be ruled by time, He never would have given us faith. Time would have kept us in bondage, and we all would die, and we would all have to be subject to death, and we would just waiting on our time. That's what we do. But He gave us faith so you can bypass time. You can actually stop what time says you have to go through. See, this is what happens, friends, when people are getting ready to go on death row, or something like that, and their day is coming, and all of a sudden they have this, what do you call it, to commute the sentence, or the governor gets up there and just cancels the whole thing. What happened? He took the time of his death out of the way. Or somebody's looking to be acquitted of some kind of charges or whatever. They're taking the possible time they would have gotten, wiped the whole thing, just erased it away. Now, wouldn't you like that to happen for you? Well, guess what? It already happens. It's already happened. He already took your sin and erased them, cast them as far as the east is to the west. He took something that was linear and made it eternal, where it would not have any effect on you whatsoever. But the only way to walk that out in this earth is we have to copy what God already says is to this way in our life, in our thinking. We got to think more eternal and think faith instead of thinking linear and thinking by time. Well, my time is up. You know, so we got to really stop doing that and thinking that we're in this little box and there's only but so much we can do with the time that we have left. Friends, time is your servant. Learn to have dominion over it with your words and your heart, so you can change the times of your generation. Cause everything to go back to the way it is in the Garden of Eden. Thank you so much for coming here, everybody. Felicia, Julie, Jessica, Mandy, Jude, all of you. I appreciate you so much. And again, if you want to check me out on my YouTube channel, Crosswalker, please be sure to. I think most everybody in here is subscribed to it and all that. But those that will be watching this video later, I give you opportunity to do that. It's called Crosswalker. Be sure to subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you, all of those that are here and all of those that will watch this video. Take it to heart. It'll help you. It will save your life and add time to your place of dominion. God bless you. Y'all have a good day. I love you guys. Keep doing what I tell you to do. You will live and not die. All right, bye-bye.